was sort of an art kid who benefited greatly from having an excellent art program at the time in my high school. So I knew I wanted to do art kind of from a young age, but had no kind of specifics about it. And I ended up majoring in painting for undergrad and was fortunate to take 2 print classes during my undergrad at St. Cloud State. I did go to grad school in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is how I know of Arrowmont primarily. And that was a super great experience and prepared me pretty well to kind of attack the career path for what my goal emerged to be. I wasn't really definite that I wanted to teach, but that became more and more apparent to me in grad school, and I really enjoyed that experience. The class that we're actually working with is reductive relief. So we're working with a linoleum block. Students are developing an image that they want to work with and carving out areas of the block, inking it with a lighter color, printing that across their 10 sheets of paper for their full edition, carving some more and inking it with another slightly darker color and printing it across the full edition. Within that edition, things might split where you print 3 in pink, 3 in a green, a light green, and 3 in another color, and then down that tree, the next time you run it through the press, the next color run could have even more color variations. So with that singular block of material, the singular linoleum block, you can end up with 20 prints that were entirely different in terms of color, and even mark making, because you could do additional carving. Some could have 7 layers, some could have 3 layers. They could each have a different color palette. A lot of my studio work is really interested in kind of systems and biological forms, and the areas in which we're kind of permanently altering the entire landscape of the planet in one way or another through agriculture, industry, just the way that human traffic and activity changes the behaviors of animals, and kind of really is dictating on a pretty widely documented scale what animals will be with us in the future and which won't. What animals are and organisms are sort of thriving or at least doing okay in contact with humans, raccoons and possums and trash bears, hopefully. And that's one of my kind of favorite aspects of this too, just being here, even as an instructor, when you're able to step away from the studio and see all the other, the impossible range of skills, the things that I've never I've never thought of before, some of this really specific tool making workshops and things like that are very appealing to me. That environment and the environment of places like Arrowmont, there's just such a concentrated skill sharing that is kind of amazing. I feel like the intensity of learning is really profound, and learning with material actions through the world, this kind of traditional skill, but also kind of married to contemporary concepts in an interesting way. There's such a spirit of generosity here. Everybody is super excited to share with each other, very enthused. There's that criticality, but the emphasis is on making, really enthusiastic making and learning. Another benefit of returning to Arrowmont is so many other people love returning to Arrowmont. So I always get to see people that I haven't seen for a few years and catch up. So there's usually various cohorts I can jump between, and there's always something going on, and people may know secret locations. I love it because it feeds into some of my artistic interests, which are sort of the clash between the built environment and human industry and activity, and the ways it kind of affects and shapes nature, which are both in full clash mode here through the Arrowmont campus and the abundance of wildlife. I also, while I'm here, I really look forward to the skills that I've collected and observed, sometimes even from students. You're in a class, there's also, besides your own expertise, a lot of knowledge just from the varying, the demographic of students is all over the place. It's all ages and all experience levels. Sometimes a person will want to take a class with you who actually knows more than you, which is great. And you can kind of skill share, and they can, people can kind of demo within that. So I take that back to students too. I feel like I always learn something, and it makes me a better instructor. And so that kind of cross-pollination was really exciting too, because we could still teach each other and learn tricks. So that was almost as stimulating in some ways too. I felt like I gained a lot.